What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And this one, I want to break down something with SPY, Tesla, and a couple of other tickers. I'm also going to break down some very important trends to be watching for. But let me first mention that I am not a financial planner. Make sure you take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Weeble link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Weeble and deposit $500, you guarantee 20 free stocks. And the offer ends very soon in just about 4 days from now. Anyways, for SPY, I just wanted to mention that we've been seeing some very, very choppy, slow price action. We are trying to push just a bit so far. However, it doesn't necessarily change this trend. So I want to actually talk about some very important things. So one thing that's worth noting is that at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the 3-month and 6-month bill auctions coming out. This is a little bit over an hour from now. So we'll see what this leads to, at least for the markets. Expect some volatility at that time. Now, for Tesla, there's been a lot of bullish news coming out from the Model 3 long range potentially being eligible for the new $7,500 tax credit, not to mention Warren Buffett selling a very, very small part of his BYD position. Very, very minor, though. He went from a 7% stake to about a 6.9% stake. So all of that's actually causing Tesla to push just a bit and outperform the markets. But despite that, we're still watching some very, very critical levels. So what do I see for the market going forward? What is my personal opinion? Right now, if you look at the 30-minute time frame, SPY is trying to turn just a little bit, but we're not really, doing anything too crazy, right? We did dip a bit towards the 541s as we kind of predicted, but now we're getting bought back up, and we're just kind of trading sideways. By sideways, I'm referring to a bigger range that's still over here. You guys could see we have this resistance very close to 543 and also at 544. Our key support is currently at 542. Losing this opens the doors for 540. And we're still kind of stuck right now. We did dip a bit only to get bought back up. So SPY is still, showing some strength. But for the most part, we're still within a range. So I'll be watching this resistance as we try to push higher. So if we keep this up, I'll be looking to see if we can get very close to 543. But make sure you watch out because, like I said earlier, we have some resistance all the way up here. If we do break through this, 544 will also be the all-time high. But like I said before, we haven't really seen anything higher than 544, so we'll just have to see how SPY reacts to that. The last time we came close to 543 and 544, we did see SPY reject a bit. We had a couple of rejections right there. Now we're also kind of flagging, at least on the 30 minutes time frame, and we'll have to see how well we hold up. Our 50 EMAs are support 542. If we lose this, then yes, we could turn back down and see some downsides. So I'll be watching to see how well we hold up. SPY is not really extremely strong in either direction. Like I said, we're still kind of range bound. So I'll have to give this some time. Now, even though I did mention earlier that Tesla had a little bit of a downside looking signals, we were dipping a little bit, but then we got some bullish news, and I can't always predict the news when it comes out. So the news came out about, Warren Buffett selling BYD, then, Tesla's model potentially uh, being able to qualify for the federal tax credits, and also other bullish pieces of news involving FSD in China. So that's the reason why Tesla's kind of pushing a bit. I'll be watching resistance very close to 182 is critical. And our support is currently around this 180 area. I think that Tesla will shuffle in this range for some time. We'll have to see how we end up developing. Overall, we're still holding up well, so we'll just have to be very, very patient. Now, don't forget that because the market's showing some strength, this could actually help Tesla push above to higher levels. So there is potential for that as SPY is trying to push. So we'll see how Tesla reacts to 182 if we do push a bit higher. If we break this, like I said earlier, we could even go all the way up towards these new resistance levels. 185 becomes a strong possibility if we break 182 or even close above that. But for now, I'm seeing a lot of shuffling, lots of chop, but there is some more upside potential temporarily. QQQ is trying to rebound a bit, but make sure you watch this 480 resistance. We'll have to see how we end up reacting to this. If we break this, I'll be looking at 481, and we've supported 479. If we break that, we'll be dipping all the way down to 478. So we're kind of stuck within these levels on the QQQ. And you guys can see how well it's kind of holding around these. It's just been going back and forth for quite some time. We're just looking at some sideways price action. Watch 480 as critical resistance, and we're going to likely just shuffle here for a bit. So we'll just have to give this some time. For Apple's actually trying to push a bit higher. Watch 216 as critical resistance. We have support at 214, then 212.5. And we're still kind of stuck within these areas. If we break past 216, we'll be pushing all the way up to about 217.5. But we'll just have to give this as much time as we possibly need. Aapl is now building a little bit of strength. If we do break 216, we're going to push even more to at least 217.5. So I'll be watching to see if that ends up being the case or not. Otherwise, Aapl is still kind of range bound. We're still technically within the realm of this range. So give it some time. But just know that Aapl is building some strength and looking pretty good. For Supermicro, we came all the way down to our critical support. all the way down to this 830 area. We haven't been able to really bounce or break through that. We're still kind of stuck, so I'm going to give this a little bit more time. For Coinbase, Coinbase has been on a bit of a downtrend. We're going to be watching 235 as key supports. If we lose that, there's 232 coming. I remember this resistance all the way up here around 238. So be careful. Coinbase is showing some weakness relative to the markets. Could rebound a bit and then continue to shuffle, but I do see some range bound price action and possibly even some downside. For Amazon, we're trading a bit sideways. We're on a bit of a downtrend so far. You guys can see how we're downtrending overall. I'll be watching basically 182 as this support. If we do lose that, we'll be dipping quite a bit lower, all the way down to at least 181 or below that. And we have resistance around 183. But just know that there is a bit of a downtrend, at least on Amazon, and there's not really a whole lot else that's going on with it. We're still kind of range bound. To turn back to bullish, I want to see it break past 184. We haven't done that yet. So we're likely going to continue to shuffle and maybe see some downside if we fail to break 184. AMC just trading sideways right now around the $5 area. To be bullish, you want to see it break well through that. 5.5, we haven't really done that yet. GameStop's also kind of shuffling around 28, showing a little bit of weakness. So there's not really much going on with the memes so far. There is potential for them, of course, but we're not really getting much of a break quite yet. And the last thing I want to talk about is Bitcoin. It's dipping quite a bit to about 65,000. We're kind of shuffling here. If we lose that, looks at 63,500 as a potential target. And we have resistance currently around 65,800 is going to be our critical resistance. So we're kind of shuffling down here in the 65,000 area. So give it some time. Just know that right now we're on a bit of a downtrend on Bitcoin. It's still continuing to downtrend. It's been doing this for actually a couple of weeks now. And there's no sign of that downtrend kind of breaking yet. Unless we get back above our 200 EMA. I mean, we could attempt to switch things up, but there's no sign yet. So be very patient and give this the time it needs. With that being said, guys, thank you all so much for listening. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys very soon in a few hours. But this is going to be a very, very quick and critical update about what the market's doing. All right. One more thing worth noting would be the VIX. I want to talk about that just very quickly. Now, despite the fact the market's holding up, the VIX is also kind of like trying to rebound a bit after hitting key support at around 11.5 and also around 12.5 on Friday. We have this gap to fill in the VIX. So we're going to be watching to see if we end up dipping here, if this helps the market kind of like, or if this ends up dipping because of the market potentially pushing. So the VIX has a gap to fill below. Will the market push up and cause the VIX to dip? We'll wait and see. But for now, the market is still range bound, but it's showing a little bit of strength, a little bit of life. So the bulls are still defending. So we'll just have to give this more time. So for now, that's also helping Tesla. So Tesla's actually holding up very well. So we'll see. Anyways, that's it for this one. I'll see you guys in a few hours. Don't forget about the bill launch coming out at 11:30 a.m. And until then, I will see you guys very soon in a few hours. Thanks again, guys, and peace out.